Hello, hello. This is the My Artifact episode number 3790. Today's date is 1st of January 2025. It's been almost like a night at exactly 9:44 p.m. Alright, I just had a dinner. Okay, I'm kind of like walking at the rooftop. Felt good. Alright, yeah, let's just jump to the question. Alright. Okay, question is, what if color swap the meaning of it? Okay, what exactly is this question? Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is what if question. Why am I asking this question to myself? What if question is always really interested way to give the answer. It kind of like force you to think about that reality. When I try to think about that reality, or when I try to kind of like create this reality inside of my mind, and kind of like utilizing my knowledge and information and experience that I've been through, and somehow it kind of like felt good. Disclaimer: the information that I'm trying to tell you is not exactly right, or is not exactly wrong either. It's a raw, it's unfiltered, it's just my opinion. So do not believe in any kind of like information that I'm saying, or do not seek for any kind of like information that I'm saying. It's just my opinion, and opinion are subjective. Now regarding about the question says that, what if color swap the meaning of it? Now what exactly is this question? First of all, does color have some sort of amount of meaning? Well, in some certain context, yeah, it has some sort of meaning. Like basically what exactly is this thing? Okay, I don't know it. I think that okay, let me give you example so that you might gonna understand. Okay, so in the traffic signal, what is the meaning of red? You have to be stop, right? What is the meaning of green? You have to go, right? So these are kind of like a meaning of those color, right? Okay. What is the color of peace? White, right? Yeah. What is the color of death? Black, right? What is the color of freedom? Cyan, right? What is the color of sadness? Like blue or something like that. Okay, yeah. Like these are kind of like some sort of color that we have. It represents some sort of thing, like action, emotion, and something like that. And these are kind of like something wired with us. And basically, yes, color doesn't really have any kind of like a meaning, but our body, or the way that we kind of like seen some sort of stuff since the beginning, that's why we are kind of like simply we are kind of like complete kind of like have some sort of meaning, even if there is nothing really have a say, but still we knew that what is the meaning of red, what is the meaning of this and that and that. Is because of that we actually kind of like simply seen through that stuff since the beginning, and that's why it just kind of like simply wired with us. If you don't really understand, let's just try to example. Okay, yeah, I am a righty person. Okay, yeah, I can write things from my right hand. All right, yeah. Now basically this thing, can I able to write with my left hand? No, I can't. Okay, yeah. But if I can write with my left hand, then whatever I write, is it kind of like something that acceptable or not acceptable? No, it is acceptable. Yeah. Whatever the hand that you could use, lefty or righty, whatever you could write, those things, if that particular like I don't know how to supposed to explain. Okay, let me give you context. Okay, yeah. You are kind of like somebody solving an exam. Okay, yeah. Now the one person who is a kind of like writing this particular exam from left hand, one person is kind of like writing this exam from right hand. Okay, yeah. So basically is this thing, the answer paper is actually judged not by because of kind of like something right and left hand, is actually judged by the what is exactly that you written, right? Yeah. So basically right and left hand are kind of like a somewhat something utilized in a same way, right? Okay, now what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that key, if you are righty person, okay, yeah, if you are want to write from left hand, you can write and still those are kind of like acceptable, okay, yeah, but for you it felt wrong. Why? Because you are not a lefty person, you are righty person, right? What I'm trying to tell you is this thing now, the color of the meaning is kind of like a somewhat something same as it is. Like basically no one kind of like somebody put the kind of like a rule book regarding about red should supposed to be stop and green should supposed to be go. No, but because of kind of like a we are seeing those things since the beginning of the born and things like that. So that's why it kind of like a wired with us. That's why we are kind of like a writing our things from right hand. Okay, and that's what it is. Like when you are trying to write something from the left hand, it felt awkward or kind of like a felt something really like a difficult to do this thing. Why? Because you are kind of like a going you are kind of like a doing something beyond like a against your kind of like a um, against your kind of like a things, okay, yeah. So this is what kind of like a thing is that like a like a like basically like if you are kind of like a writing from left hand, like if you are kind of like a righty and if you are kind of like a writing from left hand, then it kind of like a felt little bit of weird. Same thing like that, like basically in the traffic signal you're not pushing the pedal at the red light, obviously not. You are kind of like a put the brakes on the red light. Why? Because red means stop. No one kind of like a put the name on it, red means stop, but your brain is kind of like a wired with that particular color, so you just connect with that particular dot. So this is what is it now. What if we could swap this particular color? What if we could swap the kind of like a somebody like in the green signal you should supposed to be kind of like a something stop and the red signal you should supposed to be go? What if we could kind of like a swap this thing? If we could swap this thing, then like it could be, it's not really that we could like we couldn't do supposed to do this thing, but it takes time to kind of like absorb this information that key green means kind of like a stop and red means kind of like a something go. It take time, okay, yeah. It is that so probably it's not really that key, it's not gonna happen like our bodies are meant to be kind of like a react on default setting, okay, yeah. And if you change the default setting, yeah, it might take time to kind of like somebody digest and accept and things like that. But after a couple of years it might be kind of like somebody, yeah, like basically imagine yourself that if you went to another universe and in the universe you people actually kind of like somebody stop at green signal and go at red signal. Okay, it's kind of like a very difficult to me to say even if this stuff, okay, yeah. But yeah, it might be, yeah, it's a kind of like a human thing probably. It's a kind of like somebody, if we have kind of like some sort of setting in default, we just want to keep this thing in default setting. Okay, we don't want to change, because when we do change this thing, it kind of like felt really weird. Same thing happened with the colors too. Okay, yeah, colors are, yeah, it's just a thing. By the way, is this thing na ki every color kind of like a represent some sort of emotions and thought process and things like that, but still it's a very varied. Okay, like there are a couple of things like a red represent kind of like a stop, caution, or kind of like a danger and things like that, right? White represent peace and things like that. Yeah, but every color kind of like a represent something, and which is, yeah, which is something really good. I don't know why, I just don't feel like that. I just wanted to record artifact at the moment. Why? Because I'm kind of like getting a lot of disturbance from multiple things. Like there is some sort of DJ is actually firing right now, and there is someone is kind of like something, I don't know, it's just so much loud in this particular era and things like that. I don't know why. Alright, so this is it. Should we supposed to end here? Yeah. Okay, there is a one thing that I wanted to talk about. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So today is the 1st of January 2025. Sorry, 26. Okay, 1st of January 2026. And today I want to do kind of like a particular resolution. Okay, what is actually resolution? Well, there are a couple of things that I wanted to do. Okay, I'm reading a book that I'm kind of like wanted to do today. This year, I will gonna continue this thing. Brush my teeth twice in a day. Okay, that is kind of like simply resolution. But there is also another resolution that I wanted to execute. I wanted to record artifact twice in a day, like a basically early morning and kind of like a something in the default time after I eat dinner. Okay, yeah. Twice in a day, it's kind of like a very essential for me, because why is that? Because I have to ask so many questions to myself in this year, and if I'm kind of like simply recording twice in a day, then probably, yeah, I'm gonna cover a lot of questions, because I have to ask so many questions to myself to understand myself in every possible way and things and that. If I'm kind of like a recording artifact twice in a day, then probably within a year I might gonna kind of like a something have 600 plus artifact. Okay, yeah, which is good. Yeah, 600 plus, which is kind of like a really good. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna ask almost like a 600 questions to myself, which is, yeah, good. All right, and also another thing is that when the question is kind of like a little bit interesting, then I will kind of like execute this question for half an hour. But the question is kind of like not really that much interesting. Like this question, this question is like basically I complete this answer and things in just within a couple of minutes, like a less than a 10 minute. Okay, it's a 11 minute by the way. But still, is this thing that it's not kind of like I'm not forcing myself to kind of like a record artifact for half an hour. It depends on kind of like a question. The question really required to me to explain things, I'm gonna explain things. Okay, yeah. If the question is not meant to have that much gravity and things like that, then that is okay. All right, this is it. I should supposed to end here, and thank you.